What does it mean when celebrity worlds collide with politics, timing, and unresolved love stories? What happens when Kim Kardashian leaves none other than Vice President Kamala Harris waiting, sparking whispers of power dynamics, influence, and calculated moves? And what about Lamar Odom, once NBA royalty? Once married to Khloe Kardashian, he's still hungry for her love, or hungry for something more symbolic: closure, redemption, or a second chance? These questions don't just hover in the air like tabloid headlines. They dig deeper into the modern spectacle of fame, legacy, and the personal lives turned public theater. I was there, observing closely, as this drama unfolded in real time. The atmosphere was charged, every glance and every pause dripping with meaning, as if the weight of pop culture itself was pressing down. When Kim Kardashian left Kamala Harris waiting, it wasn't just about lateness, it was about control. The air in the room seemed to hold its breath as aides shifted awkwardly and security detail checked their watches. Vice President Harris, a woman accustomed to commanding rooms with grace, remained seated at the polished table, her expression neutral, but her eyes revealing flickers of impatience. Every second stretched longer, every tick of the clock magnified. Was Kim testing her influence? Or was this simply another example of celebrity culture bending the rules of etiquette? I watched as whispers floated through the corridors. Kim leaves Kamala Harris waiting. The phrase repeated, passed from mouth to mouth, growing heavier with each retelling. To some, it was disrespectful. To others, it was symbolic of how star power and political power collide in unpredictable ways. Kim's brand, after all, isn't just about fashion or beauty anymore, it's about influence, justice, reform, and navigating spaces where cameras flash and policies are drafted. But lateness here was more than lateness, it was theater. When Kim finally arrived, the room shifted instantly. Photographers angled their lenses, journalists scribbled notes, and Kamala Harris composed her features into diplomacy itself. But even then, the story wasn't about the meeting. It was about the waiting. The narrative had already been set, stamped, and shared. Kim Kardashian leaves Kamala Harris waiting, the headline wrote itself, and I was watching history wrapped in gossip unfold. But while one woman tested the patience of America's vice president, another story simmered just as intensely, though far more personal. Lamar Odom, a name still tethered in the public mind to Khloe Kardashian. A love story once celebrated, then dismantled before the world's eyes. The question now whispered, often with half smiles and tilted heads, is Lamar Odom still hungry for Khloe? I've seen him speak, his voice steady, his words choosing vulnerability as if it were both weapon and shield. Lamar doesn't hide his past. His struggles with addiction, his near-death collapse in Nevada, his climb back to sobriety, it's all there, etched into his legacy. Yet whenever Khloe's name arises, his eyes soften, his body language shifts. Hunger, whether for her or for what she represents, still lingers like a shadow that refuses to fade. Still hungry, people say. And the words don't just mean romance. They mean longing, regret, the ache of what once was. In documentary fashion, the story isn't just about Lamar Odom's hunger for Khloe Kardashian, it's about what that hunger symbolizes. A man chasing, not just a woman, but his former self, his past glory, his lost completeness. Parallel stories. Kim leaving Kamala Harris waiting. Lamar Odom still hungry for Khloe. At first glance, they belong in different worlds. One political, one personal. But under the lens of culture, they reflect the same truth. Timing, patience, and desire dictate power. Whether it's the Vice President of the United States sitting in quiet restraint, or an ex-husband confessing love years after the divorce. Both moments expose the fragile balance between waiting and wanting. The documentary tone demands detail. So let's linger in that moment again. The room where Kamala Harris sat waiting had no music, no chatter, just silence punctured by the sound of shoes clicking in the hallway. Every aide in that room knew the optics. If Kim Kardashian delayed the vice president, the story would ripple across headlines. And it did. Later, when Kim finally strode in, her confidence unbroken, the cameras didn't capture the lost minutes. They captured only her arrival, her presence, her carefully curated grace. But I was there. I felt those missing minutes, and those minutes told the real story. Likewise, Lamar Odom's hunger for Khloe can't be captured by just a sound. It's not about a simple quote in an interview or a post on social media. It's about the way he carries it into every conversation. He speaks of healing, of rebuilding himself. Yet the undertone is clear. Khloe was the anchor in his storm, and without her, he still drifts. Fame can amplify this hunger, turning what could have been a private longing into a cultural question. Is Lamar Odom still hungry for Khloe? I remember watching an old clip, Lamar's arm wrapped protectively around her, his smile genuine. Those moments still haunt him, even if he doesn't admit it directly. And in the way of all great documentaries, the truth isn't just in the words, it's in the pauses, the gestures, the weight of memory pressing down on every confession. Kim leaving Kamala Harris waiting is about dominance and image. Lamar still hungry for Khloe is about vulnerability and yearning. Yet both exist on the same spectrum of human interaction, framed by time. Who waits and who makes others wait? Who hungers and who is fed? These are questions that bind celebrity to politics, personal lives to public arenas. I stood back imagining how these two threads might be told side by side. A split screen, on one side, Kamala Harris waiting at that polished table, her pen poised above a blank notepad. On the other side, Lamar Odom gazing into the distance, his voice low as he admits, almost reluctantly, that he still misses her. The audience, watching this unfold, feels the same tension. Time is weapon, time is wound. Kim Kardashian's decision, or perhaps her indifference, that left the vice president. Waiting was dissected endlessly in whispers, news reports, and online chatter. Was it disrespect? Was it calculated? Or was it simply the chaos of schedules? But in politics and celebrity alike, perception often matters more than truth. The optics linger longer than the facts. And then Lamar Odom, still hungry, still confessing, still carrying the memory of Khloe Kardashian like a scar that won't fade. His words, sometimes awkward, sometimes heartfelt, paint a man still tethered to a woman who once defined his stability. It's not just love, it's identity. Who was he with, Khloe? Who is he without her? That hunger is more than romantic hit, is existential. The documentary lens widens here. Kim, Kamala, Lamar, Khloe, they are not just names. They are archetypes in this modern theater of fame. The power player, the influencer, the fallen star, the one who got away. And when you look at them, not as gossip fodder but as symbols, the story deepens. Kim leaves Kamala Harris waiting. It is the image of celebrity power asserting itself against political authority. Lamar Odom, still hungry for Khloe, it is the image of personal vulnerability refusing to heal despite public scrutiny. Two stories, both woven into the same cultural fabric, both reminding us that waiting and hunger are universal human experiences, whether in the halls of power or the quiet corners of memory. I close my eyes and recall the atmosphere of each scene. The hush of that waiting room where Kamala Harris sat, composed but restless. The tremor in Lamar Odom's voice when Khloe's name slipped past his lips. These moments, separated by context, merge in meaning. To wait is to be denied control. To hunger is to admit loss. Both are powerful. Both are painful. Both leave us questioning. And so, as this story unfolds, the refrain echoes. Kim leaves Kamala Harris waiting. Is Lamar Odom still hungry for Khloe? These aren't just headlines. They're windows into a culture obsessed with time, power, and love. And I was there, watching, listening, documenting because these stories are more than gossip. They are the narratives that define an age.